Anthony, thanks for joining us. And up in front of us is probably, to me, one of the most interesting races, right? Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker in a dead heat. Very, very different candidates, though. I think it's interesting to note that we have two African-American candidates that are leading here, right there. I mean, in Georgia, which is, not bad.
It is. It's interesting on all of those levels. For context, as you mentioned, this is one of the states that's going to become, if a state can become a household name, this is, for people who follow politics, one of these states to watch, because, Warnock is going to try to hold on. He's the incumbent, and he's got this Senate seat in a very tightly contested race and a close state. So this is where our poll this morning, brand new, finds it. You're right. It's very close. When you talk about different candidates, let me illustrate that. And one way to do that is when we ask voters characteristics of these candidates, who has strong moral character, whether they're a good role model, whether they have the right experience, each independently. Warnock's numbers on this outpace Walker's. Okay, 56-43 for Warnock, 10 points on being a good role model. And look at this gap on right experience, okay? That's really important, 52-28. So you might say, well, wait a second, why isn't the lead bigger? And that's because in this race, it's a lot of personal characteristics against partisan desires on the part of Republicans to look to Washington and try to get a Republican into that Senate seat to get a Senate majority. So it's a nationalized race for Republicans, even though, even for some Republicans, Walker doesn't quite match Warnock on some of these dimensions.
Herschel Walker, a well-known name, but maybe anyone else in that position would sort of enjoy these numbers, I guess.
Yeah, and take a look at this, which illustrates that point. Look at this. 86% of Walker voters say their vote for Senate is to help Republicans control the Senate. That's even higher than the number of Democrats who say that about their, vote for Warnock. So it really stands out as that looking to Washington idea.
So for Georgia voters, what are the biggest issues then?
Well, one of the things you want to take into account here is the Biden factor, okay? Because look at Warnock's approval rating, which is net positive. That helps him in the race. But Joe Biden, as he is in a lot of the country, is in the 40s here in Georgia. And then for Republicans, this is their chance, speaking of looking at Washington, to cast a vote against Joe Biden. They say he's a big factor here. So again, maybe not so much about the candidate as it is about that national focus.
That's fascinating. Governor Brian Kemp widens his lead over Stacey Abrams in the state's gubernatorial race. Kemp beat Abrams by 2 points in 2018. Our CBS Battleground Tracker poll is giving us an idea of how Americans feel. How are they responding to this?
So to tell that story, Anne-Marie, you start with how Georgia voters think about their state's economy, which is good. Look, this is something we don't see nationally, right? People don't think the economy is good, but they do think so in Georgia. So why am I showing you that? Because Kemp is getting some credit for that. He is leading Abrams right here, 52-46. That's obviously a larger gap than we see in the Senate race. And part of that is, okay, he's the incumbent governor in a state where, in the state anyway, people tend to think things are going well generally and the economy is good, and that benefits him. He's got an even wider lead among people who think that.
Oh, that's so fascinating. All right, since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, both Democratic and Republican parties have had to craft messaging around where they stand on abortion. How have both parties shifted their messaging ahead of the midterms?
Well, you see Democrats running a lot of ads about the Roe overturn, about abortion. It has become the top issue for a lot of Democrats, for Democratic women especially. And look at this one measure of it. Does the overturn make you, look, a majority of Democrats say it makes them feel more likely to vote. Now, look, on a measurement standpoint, a lot of them were going to vote anyway. But you see that extra motivation and that extra focus. It's really important. Republicans kind of, this is done. This is a done deal. It's not an issue. Not all of them agree with the decision, but not a point. But it is motivating for Democrats. And that, not just in Georgia, but nationally, is one of those dynamics that has shifted races in the last few months.
You gave us a peek at President Biden's approval rating. It is kind of on a bit of an upswing. The economy has started to look good. Certain prices of certain things have gone down, like gas, though, food continues to go up. Is that going to have an impact?
Well, look at the idea of who you're supporting, not just when you're casting that Senate vote, but what you think it's doing in the larger sense. And look at this difference for Walker voters. 72% say their vote is to oppose Joe Biden. So yes, his approval rating overall, it's in the 40s. Nationally, it's ticked up, but it's still a motivating factor for Republicans. This dynamic, just for context for everybody, in a midterm, for a party that's out of power, this is kind of a second chance. This is kind of another bite at the apple, and they didn't win the presidency, so...
So they are thinking about the executive office.
Yeah, it's that chance to say, okay, well, we didn't win last time, but here's a little protest, if you will. Here's a chance to weigh in and say, we don't like the way things are going.
That's so interesting. I love your snapshots by the numbers. Anthony Salvanto, thank you.
Thank you.